you. And before the Honourable Mark Buttigieg speaks, I'd like to acknowledge the presence of some special guests in the President's Gallery. Ms Stefanie Costi, a lawyer at Watts McRae Lawyers, accompanied by the practice leader of the Sydney office of Watts McRae, Barry Frakes, Narelle Rich, Manager of Energy and Utilities, Private Sector and Airlines at the United Services Union, and Peter Munford, Organiser at the United Services Union. Thank you, Mr Buttigieg.
Thank you, Madam Deputy President, and I'm welcome. I want to bring to the House's attention a very important issue concerning the underrepresentation of workers' rights in the legal profession. I am sure honourable members have all heard the horror stories from lawyer colleagues and friends. Incredibly long work days that often end after midnight, sleeping in the office and working over the weekend with no breaks and no days off. Basically, third world conditions in the workplace that would not be tolerated anywhere else. Over time, the sector has built up a work culture of cutthroat competition between employees at all levels, whereby unless you are working excessive hours and not taking breaks, you are seen as a weak link who doesn't belong in the industry. I have heard firsthand that this competitive culture begins at university and only intensifies once one enters the workforce. Some lawyers wear their excessive working hours as a badge of honour, but over time, a lack of work-life balance becomes burdensome, creating an unhappy workplace and impacting lawyers personally. Because the toughen up culture is so embedded, some lawyers and legal professionals do not feel like they can report incidents of unsafe work or bullying. I have heard that the billable hours structure puts enormous pressure on lawyers, sometimes acting as a bullying tool and control method for employers. This is not an Australia-specific issue. An International Bar Association survey in 2022 found that most young lawyers intended to change jobs within 5 years, and 1/5 intended to change careers. 60% said their work-life balance was a major issue. It will not surprise most members that this sector is largely non-unionised. Lawyers and legal professionals do not feel predisposed to joining a union because it's generally frowned upon for the same reasons I have just detailed. Many are unaware there is even a union for lawyers. This power imbalance between employers and employees has to change. It is totally unacceptable that workers put their health and safety at risk by working crazy hours and not taking breaks in order to meet deadlines set by employers who foster a survival of the fittest culture. The issue was brought into sharp focus when I recently met with someone brave enough to speak out, Stefanie Costi. At our meeting, Stefanie recited her horrifying experience of workplace bullying in the early years of her career in law. Being put down over and over again by colleagues, being told things like, "Don't be so enthusiastic," and "mute your mouth," and being subject to strange office hazing rituals, left not just a mental toll on Stefanie, but a physical one too. Stefanie recalled how her own experience in an unsafe workplace ruined her confidence, led her to develop workplace PTSD, and almost drove her out of the profession. In July 2023, Stefanie started telling her story. Stefanie's LinkedIn posts have reached people all over the world, with at least 2,500 people contacting Stefanie to share their stories of workplace bullying. Stefanie also offers support in her own time to those in difficult situations at work, speaking to people struggling on the phone and accompanying them to HR meetings. Stefanie says the younger generations are fed up with the toxic work culture in the legal profession and want change. Stefanie's experience motivated her to start advocating for a safer future of work in the legal profession. The United Services Union, impressed by Stefanie's advocacy, reached out to her, recognising the need to start a legal services campaign to help legal professionals. The campaign will be led by USU organisers Narelle Rich and Peter Munford. As Parliamentary Secretary for Industrial Relations, I will be taking up the matter with the Minister for Industrial Relations, Stefanie Costi, to investigate if there is a legislative remedy that we can implement. In the meantime, we must recognise the glaring deficiencies in the legal sector which permit a culture of cutthroat competition to thrive at the expense of workplace health and safety. I congratulate and support Stefanie for highlighting the issue and for advocating for it and being so courageous in speaking out and leading the way. I also want to congratulate the USU for backing her in and support them in their upcoming campaign.
The Honourable